What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So in this video, I want to talk about Lizzo's supposed to be being a part of the WAP video, but unfortunately not being able to take a part in it, or take part in it, rather. Yeah. And as well, I'll also give my thoughts and opinions about the WAP video as well. But first, Lizzo. So, you guys may or may not have heard, but Lizzo was supposed to be a part of the WAP video. She was supposed to make a cameo. And on one hand, I'm like, okay, that could be cool, but on the other hand, I think it was better that perhaps Lizzo didn't make the cameo. Alright? Now, she was supposed to make the cameo in the video, but she was on vacation at the time, so she couldn't do it. But I was kind of thinking, well, couldn't they just maybe have a film crew go to her location and film the cameo? Or perhaps B, wait till Lizzo gets off vacation and then film her cameo and then add it in. But neither one of those options were taken. Alright. So there you have it. But yeah, Lizzo was supposed to be in the WAP video according to Cardi B, but unfortunately she could not be in the video because of schedule conflicts, basically, right? And for me, you know, on one hand, it would have been interesting to see Lizzo appear in the WAP video. But on the other hand, I'm glad that it didn't happen. Because I do feel like Lizzo, I think Lizzo aims to be a sex symbol. You know, a sex symbol, you know, representing, you know, plus size beauty, which is fine and great and all, definitely. But unfortunately, I think that Lizzo misses the mark so much, though, you know, unfortunately. And a lot of it is her fault. Not all of it, but a lot of it I do put on Lizzo. Just because I think Lizzo sort of presents herself in a certain way that is more so comical. I don't know if she's trying to be comical. But nevertheless, it seems to come off that way at times. And she ends up being more of a joke than a sex symbol. So, on one hand, I was like, okay, I think it would have been nice to see her in the video. But on the other hand, it probably was best that she wasn't in the video. I don't think she would have done herself or other plus-size women a favor by doing that cameo. All right. But, you know, what do you think about that? Would you have liked to see Lizzo taking place in, I don't know, being a part of the WAP video? You know? Because I know some people will say yes, and then some people will say no, and then some people are like, whatever. Right? You know? But I haven't really heard from Lizzo in a while in terms of, like, you know, musical release. You know, releasing new music and stuff like that. I haven't really heard from Lizzo. So, you know, I hope everything's going all right and going cool and all. And, you know, I hope she's either preparing her next single or preparing her next album or whatever. You know, hopefully things are going well in her career thus far. And as well, Lizzo, I believe she has been sort of getting on, you know, get right, get tight. You know, trying to, you know, exercise and eat well, you know, and trying to, I guess, maybe slim down or get into shape or whatever you want to call it. And ultimately just be healthy, right? And be the best Lizzo that she can be, which is great. Somebody brought up something that I do find a bit interesting is that, you know, I think Lizzo, when it comes to the guys that she likes, she tends to gravitate towards guys that are like fit in shape and, tend to be athletes, which is fine for her to. It's not a crime to, like athletes or athletic bodies or whatever. But some people may find it a bit like hypocritical because they feel like, oh, you're preaching fat positivity and fat acceptance, but you don't really seem to be practicing that within your own love life, right? And the guys that she likes tend to be well-paid athletes, which again, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, Lizzo is famous. I don't think Lizzo is ugly, right? Um, but I think those dudes may be wanting women who look a certain way, right? They may get with Lizzo on the low, maybe. But as far as being seen out in public with her, not so much. I'm not saying that it would never happen, but not as much though. I think those dudes may end up picking women who are her, perhaps like fit and in shape and are just regular 9 to 5 chicks versus Lizzo, who is plus size but is famous and seemingly got money. But I do think that Lizzo, she can get a, a dude who's fit and in shape and really muscular or whatever she likes. I think that she could get that, but the thing is, I think it would be he would end up being like a quote unquote regular 9 to 5 dude. He wouldn't be like a dude in the entertainment industry of some sort, like an athlete or an actor or rapper, singer, whatever, right? Ultimately, she would probably have to end up being the breadwinner of the relationship, being the one who is fitting the bill for much, if not all, of their expenses. And it just kind of gets you to thinking, like, what are Lizzo's options? And women like Lizzo, like other women, like say, Lonnie Love or Melissa McCarthy, or what have you, right? Is Lizzo's standards too high, or is it are Lizzo's standards too high? I think it's are. So are Lizzo's standards too high? Um, is she asking too much? Yeah. Inquiring minds would like to know. But moving on to my thoughts and opinions about the WAP video. So as you guys already know, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. It's a Cardi B song, but Megan Thee Stallion is featured. All right. So they released a song called WAP. All right. And, a lot of folks, it caused a lot of conversation. Right. And I'll say, like, I didn't know that Cardi B and Megan were so, nimble and flexible and agile. So, hats off to them for that. I will say that I think that the video is more memorable and more of the draw than the song. So I think the song needs to catch up a little bit more. I think also, like, I've heard the song played on radio a few times, but I know they have to really edit that song to get it to be able to play on mainstream radio. Like, because both of them are saying a lot of things that just doesn't fly on mainstream radio, right? Personally, I think that Megan's contribution was better than Cardi's contribution. And also, like, this was an important song for both Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, because Cardi B hasn't had hasn't released any new material in a minute, and Megan Thee Stallion, she, of course, we already know about the controversy she's involved in, and this would be able to give people something else to talk about besides just the controversy, and showing that, you know, she can bounce back from the controversy and be successful, which is great, by the way, that, you know, showing that, yeah, you can, you know, stumble, but like she can stumble, but she can get back up and keep pace, right? Much better than the loser who allegedly shot her. What's he up to right now? You know, besides, you know, spreading lies or having his people spread lies. Um, that's a whole nother story. All right. But in the video, there were a lot of cameos, right? And one of those cameos were from no other than Kylie Jenner. And at first I didn't recognize her, but I noticed that the music stopped. So I'm like, okay, this person must be somewhat important. Then like, looking close on, okay, that's Kylie Jenner. I'm like, okay, all right. And I'm sure that Cardi B paid a pretty penny to get Kylie Jenner to do a cameo, right? So for that reason alone, I'm pretty sure that Cardi B is not going to be removing Kylie Jenner from her video, all right? So we can just already cross that out. But I'm not quite sure why they felt the need to stop the music when Kylie Jenner appeared, you know? It made it seem like she was going to do something just spectacular, you know, like it was a build-up for something. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't. She just walked into a room. Like, Kylie Jenner ain't Naomi Campbell. Like, we don't know her for, like, a runway walk or, you know. Honestly, I think they probably should have given that cameo to Naomi Campbell. Or, you know, a famous model who has, like, a signature runway walk or famous for doing runway or something. That would have made a bit more sense. But, you know, Kylie Jenner is popping, you know, with people, the young folks especially. And that's fine. I'm not quite sure what talent or skill is getting her popping, but nevertheless, she's popping, all right? And folks are checking for her. But they should have just kept the music playing. I don't think it was necessary to stop the music. And as well, some people felt like she is low-key being placed above, you know, black women and the other women of color in the music video as well. Some people felt like she was the madam of the brothel, quote unquote. I'm not sure if she was, quote unquote, the madam of the brothel per se, but I feel like maybe she was someone important, you know, somebody who was important, right? More important than she ought to be. No shade. Just saying. But notice though, when Kylie Jenner was on the screen, you didn't hear the sample, you know. You didn't hear that sample. Oh, there's some chores in this house. There's some chores in this house. You didn't hear that sample, right? When Kylie Jenner was shown strutting on them Joes, all right? But nevertheless, besides Kylie Jenner, there were other cameos as well. Normani made a cameo. Some people felt that was a bit like, really? You know? And I do kind of feel that way to an extent, but Normani got to get money some way, somehow. I mean, I'm not trying to be shady, but like her music career is sort of stalled at this point. I mean, Motivation was a while ago, and that's pretty much all we got as far as something that's spectacular, you know. She did like a song with Megan Thee Stallion, "Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend," but I think that just kind of fell to the wayside. Um, so she got to do something to get some money coming through and some revenue and the low key to stay relevant. Again, I don't think this was the best choice, um, but nevertheless, Normani made an appearance in the video. I didn't really recognize Normani. Well, for one, I'm not really familiar with Normani, but also her look was a bit different. Her hair was styled a bit different, and I'm used to Normani, from what I've seen, having longer hair. So it's like, okay, Normani's in the video, but I'm not sure if you instantly recognize her, right? And as well, she just may not be famous enough to instantly recognize. Then there was a cameo from Miss Mulatto, who also just goes by Mulatto. I think that her name probably should have been Mulatta, Miss Mulatta. But nevertheless, that's what we got. So, all right. But, I think that works. This cameo works a bit better for Miss Mulatto. One, that she's a rapper, and two, she's a bit sexual in her music as well. So I think this may work a bit better for Miss Mulatto, right? And, shout out to her. Hopefully she gets her waves, popping in the mainstream more. And then Suki Hana made an appearance. I'm not like super familiar with her. I heard she's on Love and Hip Hop. She came off more like a gesture, like the court gesture. Honestly, that's probably how Lizzo would have came off. So that's why I'm like, let's just keep it moving, Lizzo. Let's keep it moving. Then a woman named Ruby Rose made an appearance. I'm not really familiar with her, but kudos to her. And then Rosalia made an appearance too. I'm not super familiar with her either, although I have heard of her name. I think she may have been beefing with Karol G at one point or another. They're both like Latinas, so it's like Latina on Latina beef, right? Yeah. Also in the video, I noticed that Rosalia, she was wearing this like red leather or pleather suit, and it made me think of Britney Spears' video for Oops, I Did It Again. That outfit. I'm like, was that like just happenstance or was that on purpose? Just wondering, right? Because that is a pretty iconic look for Britney Spears, but I'm just saying. So those are pretty much the cameos, and this animal rights activist, I'm guessing, named Carol Baskin came out and spoke against the video for using big cats in the video. Very much on the animal rights tip, which is fine. Animals are, living creatures as well and deserve some form of, respect and decency and all that stuff. And then some people took issue with her taking issue with that and were feeling like she was targeting them because they were, quote unquote, women of color or black women or whatever we want to call this, right? And perhaps. And, ultimately, I think that this video, as well as the song, is going to just end up being more so a flavor of the moment, perhaps, But nevertheless, a good topic, a good video to get people talking, good flavor of the moment, right? So that's all I got. So what do you think about all this? Let me know in the comment section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.